Before this video begins, I would like to recommend you all go join the Valentino 1A Discord server, aka my server. Join us over today and you get to see all kinds of content, such as fan art, memes, AU headcanons, theories, and much, much more. Link to my server is in the description. Anyways, enjoy the video. One day...
Damn, I sure do love Thomas and the Magic Rope. Fuck! Oh, look how they massacred my boy.
Don't you ever do that again.
Hey, don't get blackout drunk on my coach, how about?
I'm not drunk, alright? This is Ow!
No, seriously, get the hickety heck off my express. The audience is waiting.
No, I don't want to review Series 10.
Dude, come on, it's been 84 years.
It's been a while since I haven't done a rank and review video.
Also, if you let unlucky
And it's
Tug
been
pass
like,
now, they're gonna
what,
start calling you a hack.
2 months since I uploaded my 80th anniversary prediction video. You know what? I'm gonna check to see how those videos did. Wait, what? Let's have 2 weeks later than Thanksgiving break. Finally, now that I finished my work, I can sit back, relax, and... That sounds like a notification from my phone. Oh, it's from YouTube. Well, I must check it out to see what it is. Oh, it's from Usual Blue Luke. Well, let's see what he posted. Opinions on Season 11 Thomas and Friends review. Premiering November 30th, 2024, 21 o'clock British Central Time. Click the link below to see it early. You know, now that I've seen this, I think I also want to do a review on Season 11. I did do a review of Season 12 already, so why not I do Season 11? And maybe after I review Season 11, I can review Season 10 next. So yeah, but first, I need to rewatch Season 11 so I can remember what happened. Hello everyone, the American K2 Productions here, and welcome back to a brand new video. First rank and review video of 2025. Now, it's been a while since I haven't done one of these videos. After my 80th anniversary prediction video I did last year, I took a break from these kinds of videos. But now, they have returned, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another TTTE season review. Now, last year, when I did my first ranking review video, I reviewed it in Season 12, and that video was a success. So that brings us to a question. What season am I going to rank and review today? Is it going to be another season from the Classic era, or the Miller era, or the Brenner era, or the Bubba era? Well, no. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking another season from the Hit era, and that season is the one and only itself, Season 11. So without further ado, let's get going. What is Season 11? Now, just like I did back in the Season 12 review, we need to discuss what Season 11 is for those who don't know. Season 11 is the 11th season of Thomas and Friends. Now, this season was the list of two things. It was the first ever season to be filmed with a 1080i high-definition Sony Cybershot HD camera, and this season was also the last and final season to use the static engine face mask and the human figures, because season 12, they will begin using CGI elements to animate the faces, humans, animals, and little details. But that's not true, and what do I mean by that is that it said it was the last season to use the static model faces and the human figures. But that was a lie, because in the next season, they would still use the static model faces, although they only used the static model faces for distant shots or cut-up shots or some shots, and some for no reason. The human figures only appear for about 2 seconds. Anyways, back to Season 11. So apparently, Season 11 is kind of an improvement in my opinion, but like most hit era seasons, Season 11 does suffer from some issues and problems. So without further ado, let's get to the bottom of this. The issues of Season 11. So I'm going to be discussing what the issues are of this season. Number 1, the free strikes formula. The first issue of this season is the atrocious and awful free strikes formula. But to be honest, there aren't really a lot of episodes that don't use the format. In fact, there is an episode that uses the free strikes formula, but done right, and that being Thomas and the Storyteller. Apparently, instead of Thomas making free mistakes, he helped 3 of his friends. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty good episode. But some episodes are just really terrible. Number 2, the set designs. The second issue with this season is the set designs. Now, the sets in this season are just boring as most sets in the hit era, 3 straight tracks or 2 straight tracks with trees and bushes, and there are so many trees and bushes overgrown that we can't even see the mountains in the background. Obviously, the sets are weak in this season and just look like all the boring sets in the hit era. Number 3, the characterization. The third issue with this season is the flat-out characterization. Only a few are in character, but some are out of character. Edward is still being treated as that old pathetic loser like he is in the episode Edward in the Mail. Toby's an absolute little wimpy coward. Henry's an idiot in his episode. Percy acts like a baby. And Thomas, well, to be honest, there were some good episodes where he had his outstanding moments, but in some bad episodes, he acts like a complete idiot or acts like an absolute coward. The characters I think that were in character this season were Gordon and James, since they both had great episodes this season. James got Dirty Work, and Gordon got Gordon and the Engineer, so I guess these 2 were lucky, but the others, they weren't so lucky. Parcels flew everywhere. I'll never deliver the parcels on time now, he moaned. Ranking the episodes. Okay, now that I discussed about the issues, let's get going of ranking the episodes and rank them from best to worst. Let's get going. Thomas and the Storyteller. We start off Season 11 with a good start, and this was a really great episode. Thomas is in character, and the episode uses the free strikes formula, but done right. Absolutely a fantastic episode, and it gets a good rating. A+, 10 out of 10. Emily's Rubbish, or Emily and the Garbage. Another great episode. And the best part is that this episode introduces a new character that will later become part of the show in the CGI era, and that being our good old industrial pal, Whiff. And I have to say, I really like Whiff. He's another one of my favorite characters. Also, I kind of find it a little funny of how Hit decided to have Aerolite. a 224 engine that was built to haul the mechanical engineer's saloon coach and decided to have him be an industrial garbage engine in the show. I just found it funny and interesting, but still another great episode. A+, 10 out of 10. Dream On, another great episode. Wow. I really like this episode, and I like how Thomas is the one who gets to take the Duke and Duchess to the airport. Also, I like how Thomas and Spencer's rivalry is handled here. Since their rivalry started kinda bad in season 10, but this episode did their rivalry very well, and I'm so glad that they kept this in Hero of the Rails. A really great episode, and it gets a good rating. A+, 10 out of 10. Dirty Work. No, not Dirty Work from season 2. I'm talking about this episode. I find it so weird that we have 2 episodes that have the exact same name. So weird. But anyways, we have another great episode, and this one uses the free strike formula but done right. Wow, it's so cool we have 2 in the season that use the free strike formula but done right. Another great episode. A+, 10 out of 10. Hector the Horrid. Wow, 5 great episodes so far. That's amazing. This is the best episode of season 11. Thomas had an outstanding moment in this episode, and we get to meet a new character, and it's a truck, and that being the king of the trucks himself, Hector, aka Heavily Engineered Coal Truck on Rails. Really great name. Also, Michael Brandon did a really good job with Hector. The part where Hector screamed, "Keep away," was really awesome.
Keep away! roared Hector.
An outstanding job there, Brandon. What I also like about this episode is the Thomas and Rosie bonding, aka the brother and sister bonding. After Hector scares Rosie, the little sister, runs away after being frightened, and Thomas, the big brother, gets back at Hector. Overall, a great episode, and it's the best of season 11. A+, 10 out of 10. Gordon and the Engineer, or Gordon and the Mechanic. 6 great and amazing episodes so far. Wow. Also, this episode marks the return of Donald and Douglas. Yep, the Scottish twins have returned, and they played a really good role in this episode, and they will also return in season 12. That's cool. Also, this episode uses real-life railway practice, and they also played this little game called Telephone, which is a game where a person sends a message and they spread the message to the next person. It's like a game of fetch. Gordon goes backwards to get Douglas goes backwards to get Donald, and then Donald goes back to get the engineer, or mechanic. He then takes him to Douglas then takes him to Gordon, and then Gordon takes the engineer, or mechanic, to the signal box. Just like the previous episodes, this one also gets a good rating. A+, 10 out of 10. Thomas and the Spaceship. Yeah, this is where things start to switch gears. This episode, it's not bad, it's just okay. Thomas asking Gordon to help him deliver the mail at the end of the episode was so cool, still keeping the good old Thomas and Gordon dynamic, but still a-okay episode. C+, 7 out of 10. Henry's Lucky Trucks. Okay, how can I put this? Henry is an absolute idiot in this episode. I don't understand why he's so worried about his lucky trucks. Like, dude, they're just trucks. Trucks. Yeah. Also, something I found interesting about this episode is that I noticed Henry's tender is much lighter than either. That's because it's actually his plastic model's tender. I just found it so interesting. You can know the difference between the paint. The brass model has a light dark green, and his plastic tender has a much lighter green. So interesting. Although this is just a dumb episode. C, 6 out of 10. Thomas and the Lighthouse. This is just a dumb and boring Thomas is sent to deliver something and mess it up episode. Also, why is Sir Topamat sending Thomas to deliver a light bulb on a flatbed? Wouldn't it be much safer and faster if it was delivered by road instead of rail? And they also introduced a new road vehicle in this season. Why not have this episode be about her instead of this little blue fella? Why? Overall, this is just a dumb episode. F-, 2 out of 10. Thomas and the Big Bang. All I'm just gonna say is that this episode is terrible. Thomas and the Now Gauge engines are idiots. They all pull pranks on each other by blowing their whistles, but it ends up causing trouble. Although the crashes in the episodes are impressive, but the episode is just bad. F, 1 out of 10. Smoke and Mirrors. Another Thomas is sent to deliver something and messed it up episode. Although this episode is good, and the magician's final magic trick at the end of the episode was cool. So this episode is good. B, 8 out of 10. Thomas Sets Sail. Just like Thomas in the Lighthouse, this is just another dumb and boring Thomas is sent to deliver something and mess it up episode. Also, I got a question. Why is Molly randomly just sitting on the mainland with nothing in tow? Is there a reason of why she's sitting on the mainland? Did she broke down? Or couldn't they give her some trucks or coaches or just put a water tower or a signal box to give us a reason? Overall, this episode is dumb and boring. F minus 2 out of 10. Don't be silly Billy. Ah yes, everyone's favorite episode, and it introduces everyone's favorite character, that being our good old pal Billy. Now, to be honest, this episode is undeniably 100% not gonna lie is the worst episode of season 11. I'm not kidding. I hate this episode. Billy is an absolute annoying, stubborn and thank God that this was his only appearance in the show. It will be an absolute nightmare if we ever saw another Manny Wardle L class in the show. Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no!
Anyways, this episode is absolutely the worst episode of season 11, and it gets a bad rating. F, negative 0 out of 10. Edward and the Mail. Oh god. Edward is so unlucky when he is in the spotlight episode in the hit era. This episode shows that he's weak at his capabilities, and Edward, for some weird reason, can't make deliveries properly. Edward, is pulling the mail train really that hard? Come on. Overall, this is just another terrible Edward episode, and just like Steady Eddie from season 12, this episode also gets a bad rating. F, 1 out of 10. Hide and Peep. We covered 6 great episodes, and now we have 7. This episode is great, and this episode gives Cranky some character to him. At first, he asked Thomas and Percy if he can play hide and peep, and later on the episode, Thomas asked Cranky for help to find Percy. So nice. So this episode gets a good rating. A+, 9 out of 10. Toby's Triumphant. Terrible. Toby's an absolute little wimpy coward in this episode, and overall, he is out of character in this episode. F, 1 out of 10. Thomas and the Runaway Car. Overall, a great episode that makes a total of 8 great episodes. And this episode also includes the Thomas and Gordon dynamic. How nice. So this episode also gets an A+ and a 10 out of 10. Thomas in Trouble. No, not Thomas in Trouble from season 1. And I'm talking about this episode, alright? Seriously, what is it with hits stealing names from already existing episodes? Anyways, this episode is good, and I like how Gordon feels bad for Thomas, still keeping the dynamic between these two. Overall, a good episode. B, 8 out of 10. Thomas and the Stinky Cheese. Yes, folks, another Thomas-centric episode. I know, Thomas is a coward in this episode. Apparently, if Diesel, Ari, and Bert find out that he's carrying the Stinky Cheese, they'll call him the stinkiest engine on Sodor. Dude, you know you could just ignore them, but whatever. And you just gotta love how he just destroys a whole load of cheese, all just for the dairy manager to give him another load. And he doesn't seem mad at him for ruining the last load. And then Sir Topham Hatt praises him? What? Now, despite this episode's issues, I do want to give this episode some credit. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. So for all guys who don't know, or do know, this episode was used for a CGI test in 2008. It was animated by Stardust Pictures. It was also during this time that Hit was making plans for the show to transition into CGI in 2009 because filming with model props became expensive and they started to experiment with CGI. Fun fact, Stardust Pictures also animated Spirit's Storm of the Cimarron, Gimeno and Juliet, The Hunger Games, The Scorches Appearance, Madagascar, and of course, Shark Tale. Yeah, that movie, yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I have to say, Stardust did a really good job animating this episode. Almost every single scene was recreated in CGI to make it accurate to the episode. Some fans even say that the show should have gone in this format, which yes, I wish the show should have gone in this format, but to be honest, I'm kinda glad that Hit decided to go with Nitrogen Studios instead of Stardust Pictures, because Stardust Pictures' animation for the Stinky Cheese test animation does look a bit cartoony, and Thomas and Diesel's faces do look a little bit off. Yeah. I also have an issue with the CGI test animation, and what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. So in the scene where Thomas crashes into Bird, well, in the CGI test animation, in the crash scene, Thomas crashes into Bird, and I am not kidding when I say this, but Thomas, the flatbed, and Bert's bed, and then the flatbed jumps into the air. You don't believe me? Look. Yes, folks, I am not kidding. The flatbed bounces in the air. Wait. Are they foreshadowing Journey Beyond Sodor and Big World Big Adventures in the Hit era? I'm starting to lose my Anyways, that's all I have to say about the CGI test animation. Now let's get back to the episode. So despite this episode being in another bland Thomas-centric episode, this episode, however, was the last of one thing. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. So for all you guys who don't know or do know, this episode was the last and final appearance of Thomas's plastic model, aka the Perspex model, as during this time, Thomas's Perspex model was over 24 years and was starting to show its age, and it was because Thomas had like 4 breast models, and so it was time for the plastic model to retire. And this episode marked the Perspex model's last appearance in the show, and then after this episode, we never saw Thomas's Perspex model ever again. That was until 2024, when Thomas's plastic model had been found and was auctioned on the prop store. Finally, after 17 years, we found Thomas's plastic model. Let's see how the current condition of the model is, shall we? Oh. I don't even know what to say. What in the actual Anyways, this episode's just okay, and even though it suffers from some problems, I'm still giving it credit for the CGI test animation. B, 7 out of 10. Percy and the baggage. Okay, this episode is kinda dumb. Percy is sent to deliver baggages on a flatbed. Question: why are you having an engine deliver baggage on a flatbed? Also, did Dowager Half forgot her luggage and just left it sitting at the station, or did she just left it on purpose? Also, why could the person just deliver the baggage first and then do his job instead of waiting at the last moment? Whatever. Overall, this episode is kinda dumb. F, 1 out of 10. Skarloey storms through. Yep, it's an episode where Skarloey is out of character. Skarloey is a little wimpy coward in this episode. Apparently, he, Irenaeus, and Peter Sam are sent to go get some sheep from the hills and take them to the barn before a storm hits. However, when it begins to rain, a loud thunderclap scares Skarloey, and then he stays in the shed, which reminds me of a certain engine who hid in a tunnel because he was afraid of the rain. Overall, this is just another terrible Skarloey episode from the Hit era. F, 1 out of 10. Cool trucking. 8 great episodes, and now we have 9. This episode is really great, and so is the story. Also, we get to meet another new character, and it's a road vehicle, and that being Madge the Snub-Nosed Lorry. And to be honest, I really like Madge. I like her bases, her design, it makes her look so cool. And her pairing with Duncan in this episode is so cool. Apparently Duncan is bored at first and complains that Madge is too slow, and then Madge starts to make the journey fun for him. Also, the part where she sprays snow on the policeman was funny.
Sorry, said Madge.
Ha! That was funny. Overall, a great episode. A+, 10 out of 10. Wash behind your buffers. 10 fantastic episodes, folks. This is also great as well. Apparently, this episode shows Madge's motherly side. Apparently, she's sent to deliver brushes and soap to Scarlo and Rheneas. And she also gives them an advice on how to be clean. And then later on in the episode, Madge gets dirty. And then Scarlo and Rheneas return the favor. And by instructing the workmen to give Madge her wash down. I like that. Scarlo and Rheneas feel in character in this episode, and I'm glad that it reminds me of their old personalities from season 4. I also like how Madge is the motherly type in this episode and be the one to give advice to Scarlo and Rheneas. I like that. Also, the part where Madge sprays mud on Scarlo and Rheneas was funny.
She backfired. The mud sprayed all over Rheneas and Scarlouie.
Ew! It's in his eyes! Also, according to the Unlucky Tug in his Season 11 retrospective, there have been 5 instances where several characters have been covered in mud, and to be honest, it's kinda sus. Someone on the crew must have been kinda sus and had a mud fetish while filming these episodes. Overall, this episode gets a good rating. A+, 10 out of 10. Duncan does it all. Okay, this episode is stupid. Apparently, Duncan is tired of doing the same job and he wants to do something exciting. Then, Rusty tells Duncan that he's taking sightseers to see the ruined castle. Duncan wants to help, so he abandons his job to do Rusty's job. Then when Scarloy passes by, he asks him if he can take his sheep to the market for him, only for Scarloy and Rheneas to get in trouble. Overall, this episode is stupid. D-, 2 out of 10. Sir Handel in charge. This episode is dumb and Sir Handel is an idiot in this episode. Apparently, Mr. Percival is going to a meeting with Sir Topham Hatt, and he puts Sir Handel in charge while he's gone. Mr. Percival then tells him to pick an engine to do the job, but Sir Handel is too busy daydreaming about being in charge. Then later, when he sees Mighty Mac, Rusty, Duncan, and Peter Sam, he then tells them about the special and that he needs help. They all say that they can help, but Sir Handel just says...
But Sir Handel wasn't listening. I must find the very best engines, he huffed. Wait here.
How about just choose a damn engine and stop wasting your time? Whatever. Overall, just like Duncan does it all, this episode is also stupid. D-, 2 out of 10. Ding-a-ling. Alright, we're at the season finale, and this episode is... stupid. Yeah. Apparently, in this episode, James has delivered a new bicycle for Mr. Percival, but it doesn't have a bell. Freddy does know where to find a bell, but he pretends he doesn't know because he doesn't want to look silly. He then sets off with the bicycle and tries to look for a new bell. Seriously, why is he delivering a bicycle on a flatbed? That makes no sense! Overall, this is just a really stupid episode and a dumb finale to Season 11. D-, 1 out of 10. Now, before we get to my final thoughts on this season, I want to discuss a few things before we get to my final thoughts. So let's start. The first thing I want to talk about is something that fans complained about this season, and that is the godforsaken yellow filter in Season 11, or as many fans call it, the piss yellow filter. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the piss yellow filter. It just makes Season 11 ugly, and it's very distracting in this season. But thanks to Thomas fan Random Melon, he managed to fix these by color correcting all the episodes. He will later do the same for The Great Discovery. Fun fact, the color correction version of The Great Discovery will be used in both Thomas Fan 261 and Usual Blue Luke's reviews of The Great Discovery. Link to their reviews are in the description. Also, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Random Melon for the color corrections. I couldn't find your YouTube channel, but if you're watching this, thank you, because I cannot stand the damn piss yellow filter in Season 11 and The Great Discovery. Alright, now that we discussed about the piss yellow filter, let's talk about the reshoots. Now, for all you guys who don't know, Season 11 is infamous for its number amounts of reshoots while filming the episodes, and most of the reshoots were in unreleased date. However, in 2007, only 5 episodes were edited using the original footage, so none of the original versions of these episodes were released officially on home media. I find it weird that they decide to reshoot some scenes of the episode for Season 11 while these episodes aired on half-an-hour TV ratings and individually on DVD. Although, here's the reason why. The reason why I did these reshoots is because Season 11 was in production along with The Great Discovery, since some of the sets in Season 11 were later used in The Great Discovery. I don't understand why they did this, but if anyone knows why they did this, leave it in the comment section. Also, I would like to recommend you all go check out Special Trees' video called Thomas and Friends Series 11 Alternate vs. Final, where he compares the differences between the original shots and the reshoots. Link to that video is in the description. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the morals in these episodes. Now, some episodes have morals that are bland, boring, and kind of repetitive, as we all already heard about these morals in previous seasons. Don't be impatient. It's important to tell the truth when you're feeling ill. Face your fears and you won't be afraid anymore. Stay clean. Listen to people when they give you advice. And we already know about that because we already heard about these morals before. But even though these morals are bland and repetitive, Dream On, Dirty Work, Hector the Horrid, and Cold Truckings, however, have 4 excellent and great morals. Dream On has the moral of, do what you do best, and one day an opportunity to be in the spotlight will come. Dirty Work has the moral of, life gets pretty lonely at the top, so never forget your friends. Hector the Horrid has the moral of, sometimes those who are tough and scary on the outside are actually quite innocent and scared if you take the time to know them more. And Cold Truckins has the moral of, don't let your friends stop you from doing jobs safely just because they eagered you on. All 4 of these fantastic episodes are great and have excellent morals. Credits to Neil Richards, Wayne Jackman, Simon Spencer, and Paul Larson. You guys wrote fantastic episodes with great morals. Credit to you guys. A possible finale to the model series. Now, this is a theory I have thought about for a while, so it'd be best to talk about it. So let me tell you. So we all know The Great Discovery. You know, the last and final model film production and the swan song goodbye to the model series is Thomas. And we all know Season 12, the first ever season to use CGI elements and the last and final season to be filmed with model props. Well, what if Season 12 wasn't the finale? What if Season 11 and The Great Discovery were both the finales to the Mall series, and Season 12 was the beginning of CGI era, being full CGI? Now, this is just a theory I came up with, so here's the theory. My theory is that they were originally going to have Season 11 and The Great Discovery be the last and final model productions of the Mall series, and have Season 12 be the first full CGI season. Now, the reason why I think they decided to have Season 12 be the finale to the Mall series is because if Season 12 was a full CGI season, then I'm sure fans would be confused. So I guess we got Season 12 to introduce us to the CGI elements, which I'm glad they did. Anyways, now let's get to the final part of the video. My final thoughts on this season. Alright, now let's talk about my final thoughts on this season. Season 11, in my opinion, is the best season of the hit era. Even though this season did have a few ups and downs, but this season contained a lot of great episodes and a lot of bad ones. But Season 11 is the best season and is an improvement of the hit era, and I think it might be my favorite season of the hit era. Okay, second favorite. Season 12 is still my favorite, but Season 11 is absolutely fantastic. And the word I would describe this season is well, it's not really a word, it's more of a sentence, and that being the golden treasure to a hidden gem. For example, you find something that looks amazing and it's a hidden gem. Overall, season 11 is fantastic, and I'm giving this season an A+ and a 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, folks, that's my opinions on Season 11. A improved hidden gem and a possible finale to the Mall series. Overall, this is an improvement of the hit era and is the best of the hit era. And if you guys haven't watched it, then I recommend you all go watch it if you want. Also, comment below and tell me what are your opinions and thoughts on Season 11. I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts on Season 11. Also, before this video ends, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to 3 people who inspired me to do this review. Those being Usual Blue Kaluk, The Unlucky Tug, and Toby Point Fan 19. Their reviews on Season 11 inspired me to do my review on Season 11. Link to their reviews are in the description. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next time. This is the American K2 Productions signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you all later.